Good day. Let's see who's here. Hello, CW. There, this distance is I need glasses. Back I don't. All right, good to see you, Mr. Invisible. CJ, Liz, CW. Yeah, I'm gonna really quickly touch. I'm getting a lot of emails and inquiries of late, and this might be a little bit faster way to me to answer them. But obviously, if it's in private nature, then I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, today is 30th, April 30th. Where did April go? To be honest with you, I'm glad it's just about over. It's been one heck of a month. 2025, and let's get started right into the Good Day Rising prayers. And as you can see by the title, we're going to end the fourth Horseman today and start a new chapter. Let's see if I wrote down what the next one is going to be. Yes, next will be all about Freemasons and Freemasonry. So that should prove to be very interesting. Jewish Freemasons, sons of the devil. So, and thank you for, well, we're going to talk about that in the, let's see if I write that down. I'm trying to write little notes down here now so I don't forget what I wanted to say. All right, let's get started with Good Day Rising prayers. In nomine Dei, matronam nostra, Dei Jesu Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Let us place ourselves in the presence of the Most Holy Trinity and in Catholic contemplation humbly venerate the Divine Family. It's good to have a kneeler in your home as well, or some sort of, you can kneel up against anything, your bed, like they used to do, prayers before bed. We can continue to do them. Let me know if you do that. If you kneel down before your before bed, say your evening prayers. Most holy and venerable Trinity, one divine family, I believe that thou art here present. I venerate thee with the deepest humility. I render to thee with my whole heart the homage which is due to thee. O most holy Trinity, relying on thine infinite goodness and promises, I hope to obtain pardon of my sins, the help of thy grace and life everlasting, through the merits of Dei Jesu Christum et Deum matronam nostrae. O most holy Trinity, I love thee above all things with my whole heart and soul, because thou art all good and worthy of all love. I love my neighbor as myself for love of thee, and I forgive all who have injured me, and ask pardon of all whom I have injured. O most holy Trinity, I most humbly thank thee for all the favors thou hast bestowed upon me to the present moment. It is again thanks to thy bounty that I should live to see this day, and I desire to employ it solely in thy service. I consecrate to thee all my thoughts, words, actions, and sufferings of this day. Sanctify them, that there may be none that is not animated by thy love, or that would not tend to thy greater glory. Let us make a firm resolution to avoid evil and to do good, and let us beg of the Most Holy Trinity the graces which are necessary to us. O Most Holy Trinity, thou knowest my weakness, and that I am unable to do anything good without the help of thy grace. Deny me not thy grace, O Most Holy Trinity, proportionate to my necessities. Give me strength to avoid everything which thou forbiddest, to practice the good which thou hast commanded, and enable me patiently to bear all the trials which it may please thee to send me. O Dea matronam nostrae, Mother of God, God Mother, I place myself under thy protection. I throw myself with confidence into the arms of thy compassion. Be to me, O Mother of Mercy, my refuge in distress, my consolation in suffering, now and at the hour of my death. O most holy Trinity, as envisioned by St. Lucia as the most holy Trinitarian Theophany, Dea matronam nostrae, Deum Jesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, I am heartily sorry for having offended thee, and I detest all my sins, because I dread the loss of heaven and the pains of hell. But most of all, because they offend thee, O most holy Trinity, who are good and deserving of all my love, I firmly resolve, with the help of thy grace, to confess my sins, to do penance, and to amend my life. We have to take that seriously. We have to seek to amend our lives. And one way to do that is through self-examination, examination of conscience. When we're challenged on what we believe, do we just say what we know and then ignore the other person's argument altogether? Do we look for a deeper understanding, etc.? So yesterday I wanted to clarify something because somebody misunderstood what I was implying, what I said, and it got into a little bit of a debate on the comment section, and it didn't need to, because I had said, and I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was saying that it's a good idea to have some cash on hand, okay, in case of an emergency and whatnot. And I was challenged as to, well, if you just say your rosary as per Sister Lucia, as revealed from God Our Lady, that all problems can be solved. And those two statements do not conflict with one another. And this person seemed to think that they did. That I was implying that that Sister Lucia was wrong, and that you can't rely on the rosary in order to solve your problems. I would like those of you who have some sort of insights, or maybe are confused, to contemplate on that and see what I mean. And kind of what I mean is that we have to cooperate with the Most Holy Trinity, with Dea Matronam Nostrae, and when we do that, by saying the rosary, attending Mass, living the virtues, we will be given the information, the people, etc., that will come into our thoughts, will come into our lives, in order to enable us to solve those problems. And what I'm thinking is that they were thinking that, no, I just have to stay home and say the rosary, and boom, all my needs will be taken care of. Like there's this direct, okay, and we can get into arguments on language, and that's probably what the issue was. Okay, but I wanted to clarify that. Quietism was a heresy that was in centuries ago, where they thought that they could just sit down and pray and not do anything else. Remember, the Catholic faith is one of action, okay? And again, it's in cooperation with. Okay, so you do these things, you accept the grace from the sacraments that affect your soul, etc. I don't want to spend too much long. Okay, this Saturday is First Saturday. That came fast. Reminder for those who are participating in the first 5 Fridays and first 5 Saturdays. You can send your confessions in and go from there. Again, I want to thank the ladies. They've been doing really well with the comments and the energy, if you will, the prayers. The parasites are very chilled with them. The men seem to get a little bit more aggressive during the moon cycles. Many people all people, men and women. A lot of them don't want to hear about this, but again, I thank CW for your in-depth research into them on the website. And the Big D, I got a message from the Mr. Nobody, says to keep working on it. All right, so he likes it so far. And let's see who else is. My screen is actually kind of dark this morning. Hello, Greg. Good day, and Denise. Got the regulars here. All right, so let's get started. That's all for my my notes that I have for now. Try to be charitable. Try to be charitable wherever we are. Don't overreact with a lot of things. The best thing to do is when you're confronted about something that you say or you believe or whatever, instead of allowing the ego to be triggered and to react negatively, just take a step back, think about it, contemplate it. That's why I like to do writing instead of oral debates or arguments. It's just good practice to keep this quiet until you've really discerned the process. I'm going to get into, again, discernment of I'll just call them spirits, or revelations, or visions, or apparitions. Again, in the future, when I think when I'm finished with the website, that's always a very interesting and important one to know about. Keep watch, because this is being set up right now. This is from the website. And this was back in 2007, I think. Then there's the prophet hologram. The projection of the image of an ancient god over an enemy capital whose public communications have been seized and used against it in a massive psychological operation, unquote. Commentators have suggested that the Pentagon must be embarrassed that these crazy endeavors have come to light, but I suspect they are pleased. That was from the UK Guardian article, which came out in 2007. And what they're talking about here is the deception, the great deceptions that they're going to try to foist upon us. But I believe that with all of our prayers and rosaries, there's too many people aware of this deception, so it won't be a deception. Obviously, if people see some grand spectacle in the sky, well, they know that, well, that's not that fantastic anymore. It's not supernatural. And again, just because something's supernatural doesn't mean that it's from the Most Holy Trinity. Okay, Foundation X, the Jewish Novus Ordo Conciliar, Count Vatican, makes an offer the British government cannot refuse. Okay, and here's where we might be coming into this with what I'm reading and seeing on videos now about the financial system collapsing right now. And it is collapsing. And there's more talk about going to a gold standard. And again, they're going to, all of a sudden, I'm hearing talk that there's going to be this terrible time which we're entering into for finances, poverty. Everybody's broke. They lose their job. They can't find food and whatnot. But then, miraculously, okay, they're going to bring about this new monetary system, and everybody's going to be wealthy. It happened in the 40s, going into the 50s after the war. Remember, the 50s was the time of prosperity. Only one parent had to work, and traditionally the father could live and provide for the whole family. they're going to try to do that again. So the heretical Vatican II counter-church contacts Lord James of Blackheath to open the channels to pump their gold holdings into the world economy. This is going to be part of the end times deception where the ecumenical New Order Vatican, which is not Catholic anymore, so if you're part of the Novus Ordo or the quote-unquote establishment Catholic Church today, it's not Catholic anymore. And they use their extensive gold holdings to save the world from economic doom in an effort to gain sympathy for their Luciferian theology, the welcoming of the Jewish Messiah. The antidote to the confusion is the message of Fatima. And again, another indication that this is going on now is a graph that I watched on a video where, like a few years ago, China was like showing purchasing huge amounts of gold, more than any other country. All the other countries were little blips on their gold intake and purchasing. China was way up, month after month after month. Now China is not purchasing any more gold. However, the United States, for the last 3 months, has skyrocketed. Okay, so all this talk about no gold in Fort Knox, that's true, there wasn't any, but it's all coming home now. Now they're bringing it back in. So it's interesting which ones are buying this hundreds of tons of gold, and where it's coming from and how it's getting there and all these sorts of things. Okay, so you can see that this is exactly what's being set up for this fake affluence period, if you will. So at the tip of this pyramid of lies is, of course, Freemasonry. Here is evidence of two of America's most influential Protestants that are Freemasons, sons of the devil. Very few are going to make it at this rate. And again, there's lots of pictures and videos here. And so go to the fourth Horseman, which is under, I think it's under the Lord Messiah or Jesus the Messiah on the left side tab under the Horseman. Again, the Jewish Jesus saves, exposing the Federal Reserve, Louis Farrakhan. And again, that's pointing to a video. Farrakhan explains truthfully the Federal Reserve, IRS, ADL, and FBI. However, in true Masonic fashion, he uses the crowd's rage to condemn them with the expectation, of the Antichrist, the Masonic Jesus. Remember, heresy is the gates of hell, not banker games, as bad as they are. Heresy is the craft of Judeo-Masonry, the effort to get the world to believe that the Lord of Moses is God and that Jesus Christ is not God. That's all they care about. With the clarity of old Catholicism now extinct, these Masonic usurpers now control popular theological opinion. Would you tell this crowd they are wrong? And above right, Louis Farrakhan at St. Sabina's Parish in Chicago, provoking ecumenical hell. The spiritual force aligned against the original Catholic faith has a final objective for you. They want your unchristened soul to worship the Antichrist. The Antichrist is found at the end of the apocalypse. He is validated by the coming of the one like a Son of Man, who is in fact an anti-pope who deceives the world as an angel of light. This is why this end times ecumenical religion allied under a huge lie is so tragic. These masses of horsemen are so incredibly deceived that they are actually condemning themselves further by promoting the worship of the Antichrist, taking many with them. The Masonic deception is quite a beast. It isn't going to be easy to inform your loved ones that this Jesus isn't coming to save you. But because they've heard this so often that they became brainwashed and refused to acknowledge canonical evidence to the contrary. So choose wisely and study the evidence. This will be everyone's final judgment, and as Thomas Aquinas teaches, willful ignorance of your faith is not an option. More pictures and videos, Bluebeam, HARP, chemtrails, and the fake rapture machine. Give the fraternity of Judeo-Freemasonry a government, an unlimited secret budget, place them at the heads of religion, and things can get really interesting. The prophecies in the Old Testament actually speaks of a man-made second coming. Interesting. Above on the right, more of the same. Anything is possible, but Jesus Christ is not coming back to a world that forgot that he is God. Outside of America, this is commonly known. Above right is a hologram of Michael Jackson, which was televised in 2014. The technology gets more impressive each year. If Jewish Freemasonry were to collapse the economy by stopping the printing presses, then revealed a hologram Jesus on television, who would open up the gold reserves in the Vatican, saving people from their debts, you can be damned sure millions of people would bow down, worship its image, and do whatever they were told. Millions of Freemasons acting as Big Brother are already in place to eliminate any potential resistance. The original rosary has 150 beads. Why 150? Because that's how many psalms there are in the Jews' Old Testament, a sequence of prayers they chant to welcome in the Jewish Messiah of David, the Antichrist. Saying the 150 rosary functions as Catholics' defense against the apocalypse from occurring. And there is a link for the instructions. The following sections that are related to the Jewish Jesus is coming deception were borrowed from the Fatima movement chapter files to illustrate the Jewish knowledge of this multiple messianic deception known in certain circles as the Antichrist, the Babylonian Talmud exposed. The Babylonian Talmud teaches number 112, descriptions of the times of the fallen Son, the Messiah of the Jews. Babylonian Talmud teaching 130, Israel, the God of war. On the last day, the Jewish Lord, Satan, will smile upon them. The Jesus of Apocalypse 22:17. All right, so there you have it in the old Babylonian Talmud. The descriptions of the times of the fallen Son, the Messiah of the Jews. So that's the end of the Horseman. All right, we'll talk about Freemasonry and how it has complete control over this world, and in every town, and in government, and in all corporations, etc., which you know by their actions and their enslavement processes. All right. Again, thank you for listening. Let's get in a more holy mood and state for the most holy sacrifice of the Mass. De involviscum, Oremus. O most holy Trinity, the Creator and Redeemer of all the faithful, grant to the souls of thy servants and handmaids the remission of all their sins, that they may obtain by loving prayers the forgiveness which they have always desired, who livest and reignest with thee, one divine family, forever and ever. Suscipe Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum Hanc Immaculatum Hostium, quam ego indignus famulus tuus offedi tibi Deum eum vivum et verum, pro inum et vidibus peccatis et offensionibus et negligentis meis, et pro omnibus circumstantibus sed pro omnibus fidelibus Catholicorum vivis aquae defunctis ut mihi et idis profigerat salutem. Deum qui cum in substantia dignitate medibititu condilis et medibitus reformaster de nobis spiritus atque tu vinum et stadium, eis divinitatis essengas sotis communitatis nostrae. Fieri dignatus est pater capstanius in Christum filium, qui tecum vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Offerimus tibi Deum calicem salutaris tuum de pacantes clementium, oducus fetu divinae majestatis tuae, pro nostra totus mundi salute, cum adoris suavitatis ascendat. In spiritu humilitatis et in anima contrito suscipiamur te Deum Iesum Christum, et fiat sacrificium nostrum et expetuto hodie ego placiat tibi Deum Matronum nostrae Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Boni Sanctificator, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, et sanctificite blata prosequendo, et a capere hoc sacrificium tua sancto nomini praeparatum. Suscipe Sancta Trinitas, hoc oblationem cum tibi afferimus, a memoriam passiones, resurrectionis et ascensionis Deum Iesum Christum, et in honoram Deum Matronam nostrae, et a Papa Peter Sanctorum, et Istorum, et Omnium Sanctorum, ut idis proficiat ad honorem nobis autem et salutem, et idi pro nobis intercede de dinenter in calis, quorum memoriam agimus in te disperi in Christum Deum nostrum. Orate ut meum ac vestrum sacrificium acceptabile fiat per Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Suscipiat Deum Iesum Christum sacrificium de manibus tuis et laudem et gloriam nomini sui, ad utilitatem quoque nostram totiusque ecclesiae suae sanctae. Deum obiscum, et quoque apete, sursum corda habemus ad Deum, gratias agamus Deum nostrum, dignum et justum est. Te igitur clementes vi mater et pater, Deum Matronum nostrae, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per Deum Iesum Christum Filium Tuum Deum nostrae, supplices oragamus ac petimus. Ut accepta habeas et sanctificas haec sanctam sacrificium ilibata. In primis quae tibi afferimus pro ecclesiam tuum sanctum catholicam, quam pacificari custodiri ad honore et regere dineris toto orbiterarum atque catholicae. Memento Deum famulorum famulocetorum. We pray for the sick and the suffering. We especially pray for Katie, Gage, R.M., Neil Lenore Lively, Marie Josephina Mose, Letitia Mindy Claret, Mark Jr., Barbara and Benedict Santa Croce, Mr. Nobody, Amble Tink, the Cantu and Duarte families, Luis Antonio Cantu, Michaela McLarnon and family, Sarah and Becky, Janelina, Lori, Aaron and family, Maria and the Langweber family, the Kendrick, Shorten, Dosco, Nye, Tafor, Began, Wolf, and Kane families. We pray that Mr. Nobody receive the funding and strength needed to complete the first Sede Vacantis Catholic Council office at Monastery of Illinois. We pray for an end to all governmental allowance or sanctioning of abortion, transgenderism, transhumanism, child trafficking, child abuse of any kind, anywhere, place, or time. We pray for the establishment of more Catholic businesses, including Greg's, and a Catholic monarchy with a sound Catholic system of labor, human value, and medium exchange with no usury. We pray for a Catholic network of people supporting Catholic businesses. We pray for courageous men to step forward as leaders of this Catholic society, and that women come to understanding the raising of traditional Catholic families as the highest of ideals. We ask Deum Matronam Nostrae, Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum with our rosaries in this Mass. Please force the world to make the Jews the sole focus of their anger, And please free us Catholics from all financial enslavement to these Jews. Please leave the Jews in Israel unprotected by any government or governmental entities. And thank you for answering our prayers. Please remove or prevent all wording in governmental laws about anti-Semitism. Leave the people alone and their speech alone. We also ask you to free the internet for the purposes of good and truthful seeking and endeavor and information. We ask you to destroy the satanic document of Vatican law that is the Jewish Talmud, that you destroy Rome and the Vatican and recognize the authority of the Catholic Church to be in Portugal. We also ask you to destroy all forms of Freemasonry and its tentacles and its organizations throughout the lands and bring the members into the submission of the Most Holy Trinitarian Theophany through correct baptism and confession. And again, we ask the Catholic families bring back Catholic morals, values, and virtues, for women to stop getting cosmetic surgeries, and for men and women to stop feeding their money, energy, attention, and time to sports, celebrities, worldly attention, entertainment, and vices, and to focus their attention and time to raising Catholic families for the Most Holy Trinity, and to save and to free souls of Catholicism, free the souls of Catholics from the heresies of the Jews. All this we ask in accordance with thy Most Holy Trinitarian's divine will and intention. Et omnium circumstantium quorum tibi fides cognita est in nostra devotio, pro quibus tibi efferimus, varuque tibi affronto sacrificium laudis, pro se suisque omnibus, pro redemptione honorum suarum prospe salutis et calamitatis suae, tibi redunt vota sua aeterno Deum vivo et vero. Communicantes et memoriam venerantes in primis gloriosae, semper Deum Matram Nostrae et Deum Iesum Christum, et Beatorum Martyrium Torum Papis Sancti Petri, et Sancti Lucia, et Sancti Jacinta, et Sancti Francisco, et Sancti Juan Diego, et Omnium Sanctorum Tuorum Quorum, meritis praecibusque concedasut in omnibus, protectionis tuae monumur exidio periendum Christum Deum nostrum. Quam oblationem te Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum in omnibus, consecratum acceptabilem quae feceri dignitis ut nobis corpum, et sanguis fiat dictissimi filium tuum Deum Iesum Christum. Qui pridie quam pateretur recepit panem sanctus aquanabilis manus suas, et derivatis oculis in caelum ad Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum sum omnipotentem Dei gratias agens. Consecravit frege didiquilum sui dicens accipite et mondocati ex hoc omnes. Hoc est enim corpus meum. Simini modo postquam ceremonia est, accipiens et hunc praeclarum calicem in sanctus aquanabilis manus suas, item tibi gratias agens Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, consecrave dediquilum sui dicens accipite et bibite ex omnes. Hic est enim calix sanguinis mei mysterium fidei, quae pro nobis et pro multis effundetur in remissionem peccatorum, aequates cum qui feceritis in imum facetis. Unde et memores Deum nostro virtuis, et a plebs tua sancta justum Christum filium tuum Deum nostrae, tam beate passionis nec non et in fidis resurrectionis, sed et in caelos glorioso escansinus sufferimus praeclare majestati tui ditus donis actatis, supra quae propitio axareno utur respicieri digneris. Supplices terramus Deum Patrem Spiritum Sanctum ibi hic perfectum manus tuum ut quod ex hoc autaris participationis sacrosanctum Deum Filium tuum corpus et sanguinem subsenimus omni sanctificatione caelesia gratia Dei per amor per inum Christum Deum nostrae. We pray for those who have died. We especially pray for Julia, spouse of Frank Stelzer, for whom this Mass is being offered. Ipsis temet omnibum in Christum quiscentibum locum refugere iducis et pacis, ut in geste procamor per inum Christum Deum nostrum, per quem hic omnia Deum Iesum Christum semper bona creas, sanctificas, vivicas, consecratis et praestas nobis. Per ipsum et cum ipso et in ipso, est tibi Deum Materem omnipotente in unitate Deum Patrem Spiritum Sanctum, omnis honor et gloria. Ave Deum, matronam nostrae, gratia plena Deum Patrem Spiritum Sanctum tecum, sanctam tuum in mulieribus, Deum matronam nostrae, materam Deum Iesum Christum, misericordia nobis, peccatoribus nunc et in mortis nostrae. Libera nos quaesimus Deum Patrem Spiritum Sanctum, ab omnibus malis, praeteritis, praesentibus et futuris, et intercedente beata et gloriosa semper Deum matronam nostrae. Cum Papa Petrum Sanctorum et omnibus sanctis, da propitius pacem in Deibus nostris. Ut opi misericordiae Tuae aduiti de peccato, simus semper liberi et ab omni perturbatione securi. Per inum Deum nostrum, Iesum Christum, Filium Tuum Deum nostrum, qui te vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrem Spiritum Sanctum, per aeternam. Pax Deum Iesum Christum sed semper vobiscum, in quoque apud haecum extio consecratio corporis et sanguis Deum Iesum Christum fiat ecipientibus nobis in et salutem aeternam. Pax tecum, et quoque apud Deum Iesum Christum, qui ex voluntate Deum matronam nostrae, cooperante Deum Patrem Spiritum Sanctum, per mortem tuam unum vivificasti, libera me per hoc sacrosanctum corpus et sanguinem tuum ab nobis iniquitatibus meis, et universis malis et facere tuis semper in halare mandatis, et inum cum separari permittas, qui cum eodem Deum matronam nostrae Deum Patrem Spiritum Sanctum vivis et regnam aeternam. Perceptio corporis tui Deum Iesum Christum, quod ego indinius sumere praesimo, non mihi proveniat inudicum condonationem, sed pro tu pietate prosit mihi ad tutamentum mentis et corporis et ad medelam percipiendam, qui vivis et reinas cum Deum matronam nostrae in unitate Deum Patrem Spiritum Sanctum. Panem celestem accipiam et nomen Deum Iesum Christum invocabo. Deum matronam nostrae non sunt Dinius, ut in tuus tecum eis in tante de quibus nobis mea. Deum Iesum Christum non sunt Dinius, ut in tuus tecum eis in tante de quibus nobis mea. Deum Patrem Spiritum Sanctum non sunt Dinius, ut in tuus tecum eis in tante de quibus nobis mea. Quibus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodet anima mea. Quid retribuam Deum Iesum Christum pro omnibus, quae retribuit mihi, Calicem salutaris accipium et nomen Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum in vocabo. Laudans in vocabo Deum matronam nostrae et ab inimicis mei salvusero. Sanguis Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima mea. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet animam tuum. Codoris sumus Deum Iesum Christum puramente capiam et etiam unire tempora fit nobis remedium sempiternum. Corpus tuum Deum Iesum Christum quod subsit sanguis quem putare heriat misceribus meis appraesta, ut in me non remuniat scelerum macula quem purat sancta reficerum sacramenta. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apate, oremus. May the prayer of thy suppliants profit the souls of thy servants and handmaids, we beseech you, most holy Trinity, that thou mayest free them from all sins, and make them sharers in thy redemption, who livest and reignest with thee, one divine family, forever and ever. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apate, ite mise est, Deum gratia. Plagia tibi sancta Trinitanum sequem servitutis meae, et praesta ut sacrificium coroculis, tua maestatis in nos autoritibus et acceptabile mique et omnibus, pro quibus idut optoliciti miserante perpetuale per Christum Deum nostrum. Sanctificat vos omnipotens Deum, matronam et filium et spiritum sanctum, Deum matronam nostrae, Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gratias. O most holy Trinity, I believe, I venerate, I hope, and I love thee. I beg of thee pardon for those who do not believe, do not venerate, do not hope, and do not love thee. Most holy Trinity, I venerate thee profoundly, and I offer to thee the most precious body, blood, soul, and divinity of God Jesus Christ, who was, is, and ever shall be, present here in reparation for the outrages, sacrileges, and indifference by which he himself is offended, and through the infinite merits of his most sacred heart and the immaculate heart of God our Lady, who was, is, and ever shall be, I beg of thee the conversion of poor sinners. In nomine Dei maternam nostrum et Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gracias. That's all for today. Let's see. Yes, thank you. Please hit the like button and share it. And if we can find some more people who are seeking, truly seeking, it's a hard road. But if you're willing to give up all, you will receive all, and it's definitely worth the decision. Please go and sanctify all those you meet. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yep, and we're going to begin the next chapter in on the website there, all about Freemasonry. Have a great day. Please go and sanctify all those you meet.